In part 1, I got it a vintage book and tried to decorate the front cover, which turned out into a bit of a disaster. So I covered it all up again. We also created a hidden spine and gave the inside cover some love. So in today's video, it's time to pull it all together. I'll be adding some finishing touches to the outside, tweaking the spine and inside covers, putting together the signatures, sewing them in, and finally adding a closure. And of course, I'll show you a full flip through of the finished journal at the end. Let's do this! So then, let's think about what else to add. I don't want to add too much now. I don't want to ruin it again. But I'm thinking it still needs the dragonfly. I kind of broke the body off when I tore this, but you know, I'm embracing it because we're all broken inside, right? So I think it's perfect. In the end, I don't even think we'll see it's broken because we're going to glue it down. Again, I'm going to use my Liquitex matte medium. And this time I'm hoping this is not going to smear because these are prints on matte photo paper. They seem to be okay. And since we're trying to learn from our mistakes, that we didn't learn that we shouldn't have gold splatters, we learned that we should add them either before we put any writing or numbers, or that we cover those up. In this case, I will just put the splatters beforehand. Including the spine. So then we can add the name here. She Who Creates. And I do also want to add the year. So either we leave it just like this, or I'm tempted to add one of these hearts here from this adorable wrapping paper. It would have to be a dark one. There we go. It needed those hearts. It balances the whole thing out. Otherwise, this would have just been too empty up here. And the hearts are necessary because there's going to be so much love there. So would you agree with me that this is more 49 Dragonflies than the vintage cover we had before? What a contrast, my goodness. But this really feels like me. This feels like home for me now. So yay for that. Now moving on to the inside, we also have some issues. Maybe you don't, but I do. So remember we made this spine here. And this is just way too wide, because why does it need to be this wide? It doesn't. So I decided I'm going to cut it down by quite a bit here, by this much. It's just not necessary. And the reason I came up with this was I made this pocket from the other side of this beautiful cardstock, and I wanted to add it here. And I wasn't thinking when I was doing that. I was like, oh, perfect. Perfect fit. So cute. So great to have a pocket in front. But then when you add the spine, how is that going to work? And also, if I put it on top, it's just weird. Yes, I can obviously make my pocket smaller, but why? Why? This is so unnecessary. So let's cut it down, and hopefully I can still fray the fabric. Because now, of course, the canvas is as wide as the fabric. What we can do is, because we learned we can fray canvas as well, we just take our scissors. And then we can cut off some of these here to even that out a little bit so that it doesn't look weird on one side. To make those sides more even. Okay, much better. This still won't fit, but I can make that more narrow now if I still want to. Include that at the end. So finally, we can start putting together our signatures. My goodness, that took a long time. So when we have pieces like this, they obviously need to be connected. I mean, the simplest thing you could do would be to take, for example, some washi tape and connect them, leaving a little bit of a gap in between, but be sure to add some glue on the back side of your washi tape and glue it on both sides. If you know my videos, you know that I usually connect my pieces with fabric. But today, let's try using some fun papers. So again, I will go in here. This one might be an option. Ooh, or maybe this one. These are very pretty. And we made all these papers together in a video. So if you want to watch that, I will link that video for you below. Okay, so we don't need the papers to be the complete length of our ephemera, but they should be the same length. So let's first see how much room we have in between. So if this sits here in the signature, we have about a little less than an inch space. So about like that. And we need a little bit of an overlap, of course, because we need to glue it down. So we need 2 strips of this one. I've inked up the edges and sewn around both of these pieces. And now we just need to glue them on. This is the first time I'm doing this with paper. So that's very exciting. I don't want to add glue in the middle here because we don't want to make it stiff. So we should wait for this to dry, but I just want to show you. So then we can just gently bend this, make sure that these match up. And there's one part of our signature. That's really cute. So I will do that for all of the pieces of ephemera that are smaller, like these, for example. And then we'll put all the signatures together. Okay, so I have put together 4 signatures. Each signature has only 4 papers. Let me just show you the ones that I put together. So this is the one obviously we've done together. Then we have this one here. And then I took some old graph paper from a Goodwill store, and this actually had some scribbles on it. I think it adds character, so I'm just going to leave it. Then this is the 3rd one. And finally, this is the 4th one. Love the contrast, so fun. So all in all, I only have 16 double pages, 4 signatures times 4 papers. And I think that is going to be enough, because when I put these in here, see, it already lays, I don't know how well you can see it, it lays already parallel. So once I start adding things, it's going to bulk up a little more. Although I don't plan on adding too much ephemera, but I don't want this to be a greater mouth in the end. So this is more than enough. So that means we have to now adhere these onto these. And since I only have 4 papers per signature, I'm going to see if my sewing machine can handle this. So I'm going to sew these right onto my fabric spine. That is going to be challenging, especially the last one I know is going to be difficult because there's not enough space for the foot to move. But let's give it a try. Otherwise, either your 3-hole pamphlet stitch, your 5-hole pamphlet stitch, or you do what I always do is just start from the bottom and then go all the way up, and when you're up, go all the way down and then make a knot here. I will link my latest tutorial where I show you how I bind my signatures for you below as well, in case you need some guidance with sewing in your signatures. I did it! They're not quite centered. It's okay. A few pointers if you're going to sew in your signatures with the sewing machine. First of all, it's so much faster, obviously. But this is the second time I'm doing this, so I'm not an expert. But what I have learned is, first of all, just like when you sew them in by hand, make sure they're all obviously nice and tight in the middle, put them together with paper clips or some other type of clips. And then what I also did is I have these clips here. I also clipped them to the fabric on the top and the bottom so it doesn't move while I'm sewing. And I always place them a few millimeters, this is not completely straight, but it's fine, next to the previous signature. See, they have these nice gaps here, and they're all pretty much the same. Oh, this makes me so happy. This was so quick now. Love it. So now all that is left to do is to glue this into our book. And the important thing is not to glue it here on the spine, because we want a hollow spine so that these lay flat. If this here cannot move, they're not going to lay flat. So we want this to stay flexible so that it bends with the signatures. You know what I mean? So let's take some glue. I'm again taking my Beacon 3-in-1 glue. You take whatever strongest glue you have. And I'm going to try to center these. Let's put them in the right way around. Oh, there's another paper clip. Let's make sure it is centered. Yeah, that looks good. So, of course, this again needs time to bond. With this particular glue, it's not the fastest in bonding. I think it needs some therapy. And to help it out, we're going to lay something heavy on them. And we will let that sit. This looks really good, by the way. Okay, so it's a few hours later and this has dried and bonded completely. Let me give you a quick flip through and then we'll work on the final touches. Maybe one comment on how I positioned my papers. So you see, this one here is smaller than this one. So if I would have centered both, you would not have seen this behind this. But I specifically wanted to see more layers. So I put this one further up so that we would see that peeking out. I think those are just the little details that do make a difference in the end. Here we have the envelope that I cut because it was too large. And these are just such a highlight, I think. And I love the gold. So we're on signature number 2 now. We have the same situation here. With these two, they are pretty much the same size. So I staggered them. One is peeking out from below this first one and the other one from above. Because I think layers always kind of invite you in to see what's next. So here's signature number 3. We have this envelope. Again, we have this beautiful gold here. It just makes me smile. And the last signature here, also so fun with that peeking out, adding some fun color. Okay, so now the last details I want to add. First of all, I want a closure. So the simplest thing you can do is to just take a ribbon. In this case, I have a piece of a sari silk ribbon, and we could just wrap that around. tie it here, either with a knot or a bow. And that's it. Very cute. I would add a little bell on the end here. I would just stitch that on because the ribbon is too wide to go through my hole, I think. So I would just stitch that on. The other option is a closure like I have on this journal here. Just add a hole and a brad on either side of the covers and tie a ribbon through it. Always very cute. Another option would be to add, it could be a button, it could be a bigger brad or something like that on this front cover. And then on the back, you punch a hole and you insert a looped elastic band. Unfortunately, I don't have any here, or I can't find mine, it would be more accurate. And then you just pull the band over your brad or button or whatever it is. I also like that one, although over the years that elastic is going to become less stretchy and it's not going to be a good closure in the long run, is my experience. And the other option, which I think I'm going to try, is to fasten, again, like a brad or a button or something here, and then wrap maybe this sari silk, maybe something else around it as a closure. And I found these buttons, which I think might work. I really love this heart, but it has this kind of a loop here. So I'm going to try to get this off and see if I can get this flat. So that would look like this. I would love that. I also love this metal vintage button. It has the back like this. So I would probably glue that onto a brad. Love this a lot. Then we have this button, which I think also would work really, really well. And lastly, I have this heart. This design obviously doesn't fit, but I could paint it black if I had no other option. It's nice and flat. I could glue that onto a brad and have that there. That would also be super cute. So first, let me try if I can break this thing off. Oh, that was easy. I didn't think that would work so easily. Okay, it's not completely flat. Does that matter? Probably not. Can we file it down maybe a little bit? Oh, yep, we're gonna file it down with my blending tool. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. I meant to take my sanding tool. Problem is, it's really hard to grab and have enough space to actually file it. So this is just plastic. So that did help a little. So I'll glue this onto a brad. I have a regular round one here, or the other option is I also have, maybe this is better, a flat one like this. These are vintage. Oh yeah, I think this one is better. So let's try to glue that on without burning our fingers. Luckily, I was gifted these a while ago from the US. Finger protectors. Whoop whoop. I'm so happy because I always tend to burn my fingers using my glue gun. So hopefully this time I won't. Okay, I have my glue gun already warmed up. So this idea is not mine. This idea came from Natasha from Treasure Books. She has a really fun video that one of you sent me actually to watch. She makes a lot of these and she has different options and they're all beautiful. So I will link her video down below in case you have not seen that one. While I have my glue gun out, I should probably also do it with this one. Put this one on the round one so that next time I need it, it's ready to go. So now I can actually choose because I also really, really love this one. Oh, decisions. I'm wondering if this heart is too much because we already have the 2 hearts here, but it's still very pretty, isn't it? And I really love the black because we have the black on the spine. Oh my goodness, how do we decide? You know what? I'm gonna go with this one after all. So let's punch a hole in our cover using the larger hole. We can still decide because we can try them both. So there's that. Love it. Oh no, I should have... See, I should have glued it on the other way because now the legs are this way. And I mean, I can still cut this one down, but man, I should have thought of that so that they're like this, but then our heart is like this. Good job, Barbara. Oh, but I love the heart. Okay, I'm going to take the heart and we'll cut down the one leg. Oh no, it's coming off. Yeah, I tugged on it too hard. And of course, now that it's off, I could just glue it the other way. I'm gonna take another one and glue it again. Okay, I re-glued it this time the right way around. Yay! I love it. So now I want to attach my ribbon. So I'm just going to tie one end around my button. Okay, then I can snip off this end. And then we can just wrap this around. Yeah, I think I need to find something a little bit thinner, although I love this ribbon. So 2 more options. One is just this plain black ribbon. I do rather like that. It's a very stark contrast. Or if we want to soften it just a little bit, but keep the contrast, I also have this beautiful mixture which has some gold thread in it as well, and it has some blue and some gray, so that kind of softens the whole feel. Let's see. And it's fuzzy, which is always fun. Like that. It does hide the dragonfly a little bit more, but that's okay. We see it when we open it. I think it has to be this one. It's just a bit softer. This one is, I mean, I love it, but it's very harsh. Let's go for the soft version. So let's do this properly. Snip the ends off. Wrap it around twice. So this way it has room to grow, because now you see it's still flat. And then we snip this off. And this also even makes it easier to attach the bell. Yes, that's essential. Yes. And as my final step, I do want to add a pocket here. Oops. So actually now we can use the pocket as is. I don't mind that it's going over our spine fabric here because it's not going in as far. So actually this would be fine, but I think we need to do something about this. So I have this oval punch, which should be big enough. ink this up, make it a feature. So while that is drying, I also want to make a side tuck spot here. Again, we'll just ink that up. And because you didn't tell me that I inked up the wrong side, I now have the wrong side. I mean, I wanted this side, just like we used this side for this one. But now I'll have to use this one because also the stitching and the glue is on this side. You need to tell me these things. Okay, so I have a little spot here where I can stick things. And this is good to go. So we can attach this. Open the glue bottle, Barbara. So I'd say we have a finished little, let's call it a travel journal, because I'll be traveling. How fun. I cannot wait to play in this, to add things. Maybe I'll show you once I'm back from the States what it looks like. If you want, let me know if that would interest you. So make your own little travel journal. I hope you have as much fun and as many learnings as I did. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.